Time to get real. I want to see some crazy whiz-biz.
What's the magnet made out of, ding dong?
I want to see some of that whiz-biz.
This castle is in unacceptable condition! Unacceptable! Mathematical! Bacon pancake!
Welcome back to the show. This is WizBiz with Alex and Derek. I am Eric.
And I am Alex.
Alex, I have to say, I've been listening to John and Alex Hate Stuff.
Have you?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Kind of accidentally. So,
All right.
so I have this podcast that I really enjoy listening to in the morning. It's a really short one. It's called This Day in Esoteric Political History.
Okay.
And so it picks like some event in usually like American history, and they talk about it for like maybe 15 minutes. And I find it to be like a really nice way to wake up. So I had this automated thing that would play that. And at some point it decided to flip over to using Spotify on my television. So now in the morning when I activate my like good morning routine, it turns on my TV and plays a podcast. But then when that podcast is over, it picks something random that's in my Spotify list. So I have been listening to some John and Alex Hate Stuff, except you guys you've been doing movies that I haven't seen yet. So those ones are like, oh no, I don't want to listen to this. But one of the things I really enjoy about that show that I wish we had was like that opening gimmick where you're so always like, hey John, you know what I hate?
Oh, yeah.
I wish we had a cool Adventure Time-y opening gimmick, but I can't really think of one.
I thought about that. I think maybe we even pitched some ideas when we were figuring out the show, and we never landed on it.
We just have our opening dialogue, I guess.
Did we do like a fun thing? I feel like episode 1, maybe we did a... No, I think we just did the radio. This is WizBiz. I'm Alex. He's Eric kind of thing.
Well, Steph Quick probably knows. Maybe she'll go back and listen to episode 1 for us.
Yeah, I'm certainly not going to. On the note of John and Alex Hate Stuff, the best podcast in the world, other than all the other ones. We recently did the new Miyazaki movie, The Boy and the Heron.
Yeah.
And boy, howdy, that movie is so much better than it has any right to be.
Really?
Well, Miyazaki's like 70-something years old. He wanted to retire. This is supposed to be his goodbye piece. And it's like, no, he's hitting like he did when he was in his 30s. Like, he's so fucking good.
I saw the cast of voice actors for the American version.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. It's a really impressive list. And when I first, because it's on HBO Max now, and when I first saw it advertised on HBO Max, I immediately was like, oh, I got to tell Alex about this. And then I saw you'd already reviewed it. Yeah,
we did a Miyazaki month a couple years ago. Who knows? Time is a flat circle. I don't remember anything. But we did a Miyazaki month. So like when the new one came out, I'm like, dude, the second it comes out, let's do this. Because I was really excited for it. Mostly because like, it was supposed to be his goodbye piece. I'm like, I'm so curious what Miyazaki saying goodbye feels like. And then midway through the movie, he's like, yeah, I'm probably going to stick around and make a bunch more. But the movie's so fucking good. I only watched the American version. I didn't have time to do the subbed, but I'm definitely going to revisit the sub. But yeah, just a rare Alex recommendation. Not just listening to the John and Alex Hate Stuff, but the new Miyazaki is super fucking good.
So, in WizBiz tradition, I think I should probably ask you, Alex, how the hell are you?
I'm living the dream.
Uh-huh.
The dream of, being a middle-aged, stuck in a rut, walking fail monster. But it is a dream.
How are you stuck in a rut already? You are in a new apartment.
Yeah, I've been here for months.
It hasn't been that long?
I can be here. Yeah, I moved in June.
Okay, fine. It's been months.
Well, I technically moved in July.
I don't think it counts as a rut yet.
I don't know if like an apartment counts even getting out of a rut.
It does, because a rut is really low altitude. And
and I was in a basement.
Yeah, you've literally climbed out of a rut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is BMO is now on display in here.
And not missing.
The characters of the Simpsons Dr. Zaius episode are on the floor over there to your right. Do you know that episode at all?
Yes, I see. Yes, they are.
Do you know that episode?
Yes, not super well, but yes, I see the stickers.
Those aren't even stickers. Those are pop outs with like little stands that you can make them stand up. My friend got that for me, and she had never watched The Simpsons. She knows I was into it. I found it while cleaning out the rest of the stuff that I hadn't moved, and like, this is gonna have a pirate face on. I'm just gonna throw it on the floor for now and figure it out later.
And you've been Twitch streaming.
I have
the new. What do we call your studio again?
Oh, did we even come up with a name?
You had a name that was just the same as the old one.
Well, the old one was Echo Chamber Studios.
Yeah, so what's this one called?
I don't know. I mean, it's slightly less echoey than the old place.
I like it a lot.
Actually, honestly, it's more echoey than the old place because the old place I had a lot of soundproofing up.
But I feel like the echoing in here sounds really natural. Like it sounds like a room should.
Yeah, the old echo chamber, you were never in it when it was actually the echo chamber, was brutal. Like,
So let's see. Maybe we should call this one Nice Room Studios.
I don't like being associated with that word.
Which one?
Nice. It just feels a little gross.
Asshole Room Studios.
No, I'm not an asshole. I'm just a Cerbic.
How about we'll call it?
How about Cerbic Studios?
The cloaca of recording.
No.
Okay, fine. There's no name for the studio.
Well, no. What I was going to say is, audience at home, please hit us up on Blue Sky, Whiskers Podcast on Blue Sky, and please suggest the name of our new studio.
Yeah. That's a good call.
And this is nice too because we've so fucked up our buffer that this episode is going to come out relatively soon. So it's not one of those ones that we say, "Oh, please do this," and we have to wait 3 months, and then no one does it. But like at least now we know when no one's going to do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Twitch, I'm Verb Alex. Look that up. ALEXX.
What game have you been playing lately?
I've been playing 9 Souls.
How many souls have you used?
All of them. I'm on the last boss, which is it's a new game, but is quickly gained notoriety as one of the hardest bosses in video game history. And it is really fucking hard.
Is this is the one that I watched for a little
You
while?
little fox guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're sort of like a kung fu fox.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. I would say bordering on a 10 out of 10 game. It's fucking brilliant.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's the detractions I have from it are so minor and they're all subjective. So it's if anybody's looking for a video game, it's not that expensive. It's on Steam. I think it's coming to console soon, but it's all it's a video game of like there's a lot of like Taoist philosophy behind it, and it's just beautiful. The soundtrack is one of the best soundtracks you'll ever hear.
And it's
highly recommend.
9 Souls.
9 Souls, SOLS. It's based on like this Chinese myth.
Sun.
Like sun, yeah. So there's this Chinese myth that basically the suns were like monster asshole gods and the people killed them all.
Oh.
So it was like the myth of the 9 suns. I'm very sure none of what I just said is exactly right. But if you know the myth, you'll be like, yeah, I think I kind of get what he meant to do, you know? Like if I said like, I don't know, the one god had like somebody get birth out of his mouth or something. You know what I'm referencing. Of course I didn't get it right, but... Didn't like Athena give birth out of Zeus's mouth or something like that?
Oh no, out of his forehead.
Yeah, forehead.
Okay,
yeah,
close.
but see,
You were
that's
close.
but no, that's an exact example of that's. I would probably hear that
I
with
was
the 9
stopping. I was
Souls.
like, "What is Alex talking about? Is that an Athena reference?" So I was gonna get there.
Yeah. So yeah,
I I was sort of like, maybe there's something else.
I heard another podcaster or Twitch streamer describe wanted somebody to chat was a fluent Mandarin speaker, and they were saying about the myth, and I was kind of following along a little bit, but like also, so it's me following along a little bit from some guy in Twitch chat at another stream, you know. Anyway, how are you, Eric?
I'm good. Actually, we were talking about this right before we started recording. I am very close to finishing my first YouTube video for the Arnimancy channel, and I believe if everything goes according to plan, I should be finishing up this weekend, which means it'll be hopefully available on the Arnimancy YouTube channel by the time this episode goes live.
Excellent. At Arnimancy?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. I managed to snag that. So hopefully listeners here will go check that out.
You want to hear something funny? So I've been uploading most of the VODs of me playing on Twitch to my YouTube channel, which is VerbAlex1. Because Verb Alex was inexplicably taken. Verb Alex with 2 X's was taken.
How?
That's what I said. It's just somebody's like parked there, and I know that channel's never going to pop there. I'm like, it's fine, whatever. It's close enough.
So how many followers do you have now?
60 or something. But I just used the old Alex Cast thing and just changed the name.
Well, that's pretty good because the WizBiz podcast YouTube channel has like 6 followers.
Hey, it's more than 0.
It's more than 0.
So speaking of episode 26 of season 5 of Adventure Time,
let's not skip. So we're skipping a lot of episodes in this episode.
Yes.
So we are going to talk about episode 26, Wizards Only Fools, and episode 28, Be More, which means we're skipping like 5 episodes altogether.
Yeah, and a significant number of those were in our maybe pile that we never revisited.
That I never looked at. I still haven't double checked Alex's work.
To be fair, now when Eric throws me on the bus and says I'm the jerk, I'm the asshole, I just put a we there when it should have been a you. I said that we didn't revisit because I was being nice and trying to lead.
I just took responsibility.
But what I'm saying is, the next time you call me, think I'm a jerk, right there was a subtle thing that I was just taking half the blame for something I was blameless for.
You're still being a jerk.
No, now I am. What I'm saying is, I had a subtle moment of being someone else. So, what of the skip/maybe list that you would like to touch on?
So the only one that I didn't I ran out of time and I didn't have a time to review all of them, but I just from looking at them I agree with almost all of them from this one. But I did watch episode 22 called "The Party's Over, Isla de Senorita," and I really like that one. So in that one, Ice King tries to kidnap Princess Bubblegum again. Princess Bubblegum is like, no, this isn't happening. And Ice King has this like line where he's like, if you really want me to leave me alone, look me straight in the eyes and say it. And she just does it. And he's like, oh, wow, that didn't take you any effort. But he literally says he's going to give up his pursuit of Princess Bubblegum. And he decides that he needs some time away. And he flies off to an island. And that island ends up being a sentient island. That's the Isla de Senorita. It's the island that's a woman.
Yeah.
And Party God is in this episode. Ice King defeats Party God in battle, which I thought was really cool. Because Party God...
Man, I don't remember this fucking
Party God has this whole line where he's like, listen, bro, my divinity is unassailable.
Yeah.
And then Ice King clobbers him and knocks him unconscious. And then throws Party God way into outer space. Like, does Party God ever come back? I don't know. I didn't look to see, but...
Well, he's a god. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Maybe, but Ice King, like, smacked the shit out of him and then launched him into outer space. So if Party God ever does come back, I'll be impressed. But I know he does. I know he's in some later episodes.
Did he ever fuck the island, like Saltburn style?
He must have. I mean,
Nice.
it's Party God. You know, he's.
Oh no, I meant Ice King. I meant he like bested a rival and then.
So no, Ice King like, so the island and Party God were dating, but Party God was a really bad boyfriend. So Ice King had like these long, really meaningful conversations with the island and convinced her to break up with Party God.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Ice King's like, I've learned from this. I'm going to go break up with my girlfriend, who he thought was Princess Bubblegum. So he goes back to Princess Bubblegum and breaks up with her. I'm using finger quotes here because Princess Bubblegum's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see you. So anyhow, one of the cool things about this episode is that Ricky Lindholm, Garfunkel from Garfunkel and Oates, did the voice for the island. And in terms of like occult content, I really enjoy. So in a lot of sort of like fictional universes, fantasy worlds and stuff, there are like gods incarnate, and they, sometimes they have rules that are laid out, sometimes they don't. But I really enjoyed sort of having Party God be there as a character, sort of expressing his divinity and making a point of it, because I don't feel like the nature of gods is ever really like spelled out well in Adventure Time. You have like these grand cosmic beings like Golb. You have these like, beings from before time, like the Lich, that are basically unkillable or undestroyable. And then you have like Party God, which is, like, I have no idea what niche, what cosmic niche is Party God filling.
Well, I think like Golb and Golb and all those people would be like the Tolkien, the Valar, and then Party God is like the Maiar.
So Party God is basically Disco Gandalf.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dancy Sauron, but yeah. I think it's Sauron, like
it's
like deep EDM.
Yeah, Tango Radagast.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Now I feel like Tango is probably the Blue Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking deep Tolkien, fucking nerdness. Yeah.
Blue Wizards never get any screen time. They don't even get names.
No, in the extended shit they're named, but I don't know them.
Oh, really? I thought they were never named. I thought that was sort of a thing about them. But anyhow.
Oh, I could be wrong. I thought I'd read that in like one of the like not even the appendices, like one of the like Tolkien wrote his chiropodist and said that their names something. One of the extended Christopher Tolkien put together a napkin he found.
I think one of the nice things about Tolkien geekhood or Tolkien nerdery or whatever you want to call it is it's all so well established that I bet you the Blue Wizards have their own Wikipedia page.
Oh, I'm absolutely sure.
So there's some homework for you, listener. Look up the Blue Wizards on Wikipedia and tell us on Blue Sky, because it's blue, if the Blue Wizards ever had names.
Yeah.
Or, if not, what you think their names should have been. I'm going to go with Periwinkle and Azure.
I'm going to go with Erasmus and Fjornian. Because, Tolkien was into all that, like, kind of northern, northern stuff. Yeah.
It makes sense.
Erasmus, I just kind of panicked. It came up with the first thing that popped in my head. So let's talk about episode 26.
Oh, man. Okay.
Wizards Only Fools.
Wizards Only Fools.
Definitely needed to talk about because, we are the Whiz Biz. This is a
are.
wizard-based episode.
And, of course, there is a soundbite out of this episode that is used in our theme song, which is, what's the magic made out of, ding dong?
Oh, is that in the theme?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I haven't listened to the theme in a minute.
I love our theme.
No, it's very good. It's just like...
I actually remastered it for episode 4. I'm not sure if I ever gave you the remaster.
Oh, no, I'm definitely using the original one from...
I'll make sure I send you the remaster.
Because I certainly have listened to it a shitload of times, but like 2 years ago. So like the individual... I remember Princess Bubblegum. I think I'm somewhat picturing that sound clip, but it's been a minute.
It has a nice rhythm to it. It worked really well in our theme. Okay, so here's sort of like one of the things about this episode that I think deserves some discussion, which is like PB has this whole line where she explains that, or she explains her belief that magic is scientific principles presented like mystical hoodoo. First of all, I think we have to, forgive the slander against hoodoo, which is a valid American folk
what is it?
Hoodoo.
You do.
Yeah. Anyhow, it's a
Remind me
valid.
of the babe.
It's an American folk magic practice, right? It's derived from African diaspora religions. So it's like a real thing. So I don't think that anybody who is writing Adventure Time was trying to like slander hoodoo when they wrote this.
What so it's American. Is it kind of like white leaning?
No.
Okay, I'm not going to make fun of it then. Because I was about to just arbitrarily make fun of it, but like, now that's going to come off as racist and I don't know who practices it. So, not going to say shit. Literally know nothing about hoodoo. I just know hoodoo and voodoo are somewhat related.
They are.
And thus ends my sermon.
Okay.
I know that's it.
Yeah, I'm not enough of an expert to talk about them, and that's not really what I wanted to talk about now. What I wanted to talk about is that there is this concept in a lot of like fantasy worlds where magic is like this separate thing, right? Where magic is like this energy that pervades the universe, or this energy that can be manipulated with magic words or things like that. But that's totally something out of fantasy novels. And it's not something out of like actual occult practice until you have occult practices that are post-fantasy novels.
Wait. Walk back. So you're saying magic being distinct from science?
I'm not talking about that quite yet. What I'm saying is that like there's this idea in fantasy worlds where like you get magic points, or there's like some energy called magic, or there's like something that is magic that is like an actual measurable, tangible thing.
Oh, okay. You're
right?
saying green potion magic,
Green
like
potion
in video
magic,
games. Got it. I'm following.
Like mana point.
Got
magic,
it.
And that's something that is very much birthed out of like fantasy novels, and fantasy role playing games and video games and stuff, and it doesn't really start to show up in actual practiced magic until like chaos magic comes along, which is late 20th century.
Yeah, that's pretty recent. Like we were alive when that, or maybe not alive, but we were certainly in the.
We were definitely alive.
Really?
Yeah, that was like that was the 80s.
Oh, I thought it was the 70s. Yeah.
Maybe. But I was alive in the 70s.
Yeah, that's why I said the maybe. I'm like, it's kind of on the. Wait, actually, I think I have. I was just reading that too. I have
Liber
Null by Peter Carroll. I wonder if there's a time thing here. No, this is a totally. I stole this from the internet and printed that work version. So yeah, shockingly, the copyright page of the year is printed is not in that version.
So I would like to talk about like this idea that magic and science are different things, because magic is part of like natural philosophy. Magic is like a way of manipulating the natural world or the scientific world using sort of like religious principles and prayer and stuff like that. So it's more a a method or a process or a practice than like some sort of separate energy. So when Princess Bubblegum is talking about, scientific principles presented like mystical hoodoo, she isn't, I don't know that she necessarily has a really good, I don't think that it necessarily has a good, strong correlation with how historically magic has been sort of like presented in the real world.
I get what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
but I think you need to take into account that the quantification and solidification of science as we know it is kind of after most of the magic shit happened. Like most of the magical parts, like the stuff you talk about, like Renaissance magic or whatever, science wasn't there yet. Like we hadn't invented science as a discipline. We had the natural science.
We had natural philosophy.
No, but I mean like what we refer to as science, like falsifiable evidence as shown through the lens of yada. Like science is whatever you look it up on the on the dictionary. I think that comes a little bit after. I mean, I know that comes a little bit after than most of the magical principles.
Mm-hmm.
So her base camp of being in science. The only way she could approach magic, because I say this all the time about astrology. If astrology were real, it would be falsifiable.
Mm-hmm.
And since no one's proven it, it can't be real. I don't mean that I'm being very glib here.
Right.
You could, if you take meaning out of it, that's worthwhile. But I mean, saying this can actually be predictive, no, that's a falsifiable thing. That's math. So you have to say it's separate.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean that is a huge problem with astrology is that it's difficult or impossible to falsify because a lot of what it's trying to do, like once you sort of like drill into what astrology is trying to do, is it's trying to, sort of predict how one part of the universal machine works by observing how another part of the universal machine is operating. Yeah. Right? Like that's how pretty much all of divination works.
Yeah. So can't be science. So like I think that's the fundamental like what you're saying is true, but I just think it's like it necessitated that. The second we started figuring out like how we want to think of science,
right?
The way that we approach it,
science deals entirely with the material world.
Yeah,
that's like hands down.
So at that point, you have to have a separate stream of thought because
exactly,
the material world is all there is from a scientific principle.
Yep, and that isn't how a magician looks at the world at all. Or an astrologer, right?
Though I would say I do like the point where she says, this is just quantum field theory used as a blah blah. Where it's like
she says half of these spells are operating on entanglement principles.
Yeah, but like I know this is like very much. I'm saying this is someone that doesn't understand physics all that well, but like spooky action has a distance. It's fucking magic, and you can't tell me otherwise.
Gravity is spooky action at a distance.
Well, no. Spooky action at a distance goes against the principles of gravity. It's instantaneous action at a distance faster than light.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But originally, gravity was seen as spooky action at a distance because there's nothing visible causing gravity to happen, and there's nothing. And even now, we still have difficulty measuring the things that cause gravity to happen. So gravity remains spooky action at a distance simply because of that.
Well, no, to like spooky action is a line.
Is entanglement. Yeah,
but it's a line Einstein reference. Like it's not. That's a specific reference to like quantum theory. Like,
Einstein wasn't quantum.
No, he wasn't. That he was talking about Schrodinger's early experiments. He talked about with I forget which one it was, but basically the spin this way, spin that way.
That's
happens.
entanglement.
Yeah, that happening. But that's part of quantum theory, isn't it?
Yeah, but we didn't know about that. I don't think we really discovered that until after Schrodinger was dead.
I thought that was who gives a fuck? The point is, what I'm referencing is Einstein saying that the gravity is just more fucking weird. But the point is, PB has to have a separate thing, and we need to have a separate thing because, like, if you go, well, science and magic are the same thing, you're now officially wrong. Congratulations. Welcome to the world of wrong. Please put on your red hat.
I wasn't trying to say that.
I know. I'm just.
I would say, if anything, that
clarifying
that there's an element, especially of like early science, that makes it almost like a subset of magic, where science is kind of like attempting to operate in the material world and do material world stuff and material world prediction and all of these things that are very, physical. And magic, as it developed, it became much different. It became different.
Like in my brain, there's it's literally Newton is the fulcrum, where he's like literally doing alchemical experiments, and then also he's fucking Isaac Newton, where it's like literally there's that scale, and then it just starts like science just starts moving the thing down.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the whole 1600s, there were so many people that we sort of look at as sort of like the birth of modern science who were who were just literally standing with a foot in each puddle.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, Kepler, Galileo, Copernicus. I mean, all of them. Basically, all of them.
Yeah,
Nothing-
I had a bad joke in my head and it didn't work. Yeah. Yes. No. And I was just elaborating. Because I think it's valid for The point is, magic needs to be distinct from science until you recognize that quantum theory is really. Come on, just say it's fucking magic, dude.
Yeah, but also I think another thing is, we're in Adventure Time, and obviously there's magic. Like it's D&D-ish magic, and it happens all the time in Adventure Time. And when they do start bringing in stuff that's like real references to the occult, like for instance, in our last episode when we talked about Peppermint Butler and his sort of like summoning ritual, like those are sort of like nods to the real world, and not saying that like the magic in Adventure Time follows like real world occult principles. Yeah. But it definitely continues those nods. I mean the four elements in Adventure Time being candy, ooze, fire, and ice, sort of parallel the four Aristotelian elements and stuff like that. Like I those things are clever and delightful, and that's kind of what we aim to talk about when we rend them. But I think like instead of getting totally lost in this particular subject, there is something that I really want to ask you about.
Is it Duncan Trussell?
No.
Okay.
No, I want to ask about Starchy getting a cold.
Yeah, because so we're presupposing that Candy has an immune system.
Candy must have an immune system.
Yeah.
Candy produces mucus.
Yeah,
is it sugary mucus? Is it simple syrup?
In the 80s, you may have been too old for this. I'm a few years younger than you, but there was a run, late 80s, early 90s, of gross stuff. Gross was
I remember.
Was the vogue.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically
Garbage Pail Kids were...
that there was a candy that was a huge plastic nose that you picked the candy out of the nose.
I remember
like you're
that.
eating the booger.
Yeah, I never got one of those, but I do remember seeing ads.
I don't know if I had one, but I certainly wanted one and remember it.
Uh-huh.
And I would say that given that that's a thing, the writers of the show a lot of them are just about my age.
Uh-huh.
I feel like there's a 1-to-1 to Starchy having candy mucus.
So I'm curious then, what were those candy boogers made out of? I wonder.
I would say simple syrup, cornstarch, and good old-fashioned green coloring.
Oof.
And like the super cancerous kind, because they can't get cancer.
Yeah. I mean, that gross stuff. Like when I was a kid, you can't do that on television. Started in the 70s.
Oh yeah,
and that had the slime and so the gross stuff went all through the 80s. It was big in the 80s. Garbage Pail Kids were super big when I was in grade school. Like
greatest movie ever made. If anybody's ever watched the Garbage Pail Kids movie, it is a whole ass thing.
I have seen it recently enough that I remember the entire thing, and I'm not happy about that part of my brain being used up.
It's not great.
What a trash movie! What a garbage pail of a movie!
Indeed. So that's the answer to the cold thing. I do want to touch on Duncan Trussell showing up in this.
Okay, so Duncan Trussell plays Ron James.
Yes.
Who is the proprietor of Ron James's Spell Palace.
Yes.
All right, go.
I mean,
Duncan Trussell, go.
No, literally just at the time, this was, I don't know what year this came out, but like this is early podcast days. And Duncan was a kind of early podcasty guy. Not super early,
This
but like.
would have been 2013.
Yeah, which is... Yeah, I mean, podcasts started to get popular in 2011.
Yeah.
So it's pretty early on, and he's a vocal kind of occulty guy.
Uh-huh.
A lot of his shows he talked about like he's doing ayahuasca and whatever, and not in the he's friends with Rogan, and I know that's kind of gotten a Rogan-y vibe, but like he was doing it in a genuine like not kind of right wing weird like way, genuinely kind of seeker behavior. And Duncan, great guy. I don't know anything about him anymore, but like back then he was great. I interacted with him in the lightest way on the internet. Delightful man. And I was like so excited. Not this time watching because I've seen this episode a bunch of times, but like when Duncan was on fucking Adventure Time, like, oh my God, fucking Duncan's on Adventure Time? Because it's like in that parasocial way of like, that's my friend. I mean, it's not. We said 2 words to each other via text on the internet. So essentially I'm no one to him. And it meant nothing to either of us really.
But then, of course, the other cool thing is later on, Pendleton Ward teamed up with Duncan Trussell to make the cartoon out of the Duncan Trussell Family Hour.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
I don't remember.
But that was good. I really enjoyed that.
So his original show was called The Lavender Hour, and it was him and his girlfriend at the time, and it was not as good. Very amusing show, but it wasn't his partner was not my cup of tea.
It's sort of like how I kind of like carry these episodes.
No. I mean, I'm not arguing with that point. I would say, yeah, I just don't want her. I think it's Natasha Leggero is her name, but like,
okay.
She was very like, she was doing like a kind of mid-Atlantic, like, oh, I only play piano, and like, so I think there's some irony to it. It's supposed to be funny, but I just never 100% never. There was nothing funny to me, and I bounced off of it. And it's like I loved it. And then like I guess they broke up, so he started Family Hour. I'm like, oh, thank God, this is exactly what I want. Like I love that show. Anyway, it's just really great that you see Duncan on it. I wrote, hey, it's our old logo at one point because Bufo was in this episode.
So I have a question. Is Ron James a reference to something?
I don't know.
Because I didn't look at the trivia pages for these episodes. I failed.
I think I did, but I did it when I made the list, and like I think we're on 4 months ago since I wrote the list up, and a lot of these things are really really disappearing from my brain.
So I enjoy that they do end up going to Wizard Prison. But I love when the Grandmaster Wizard shows up. So Grandmaster Wizard, I think the last time we saw him was Wizard Battle.
Oh yeah, Grandmaster Wizard. Oh yeah, please continue. Sorry. Yeah.
So in Wizard Battle, he turns a bunch of the wizards in the battle into cats.
Yes.
And so those cats have been kind of showing up. I think I remarked in our last episode that one of the episodes we'd watched had those cats, some of those cats.
Yeah.
In it. But in this episode, when Grandmaster Wizard shows up, he coughs up a cat that runs away.
Yeah.
I loved it. That was cute.
I do have one question for you about this episode.
Okay.
Is PB straight up naked right now? Because I had that exact thought. Which she's
I did too. I have it written down here.
Yeah.
PB's shoulders.
She walks in with like this oversized, like almost like she's walking around in a Lego man body.
Yeah, it's like a mech suit.
And she's in the middle of it, and she looks like she's nude, and it's
I know you can see her shoulders.
It's distracting. But apparently she's wearing like a cyber tight suit. But Finn comments on it, and I was like, oh, I'm thinking like Finn, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's I guess
it depends how much bubblegum she's got at the moment.
Yeah. So in prison. What's Rainbow Wizard's actual name?
Abracadaniel.
Abracadaniel challenges her to a good old-fashioned prison stabbing to the death, which is so fucking good.
I love that she's got like, what is that, like a chicken foot?
Yeah, and I don't know if this is the first time, but like PB is shown to have extreme martial prowess.
Oh yeah,
over the course of the episodes.
She's had it before.
Yeah, I thought so, but I've seen the show so many times, like it's all the order goes away. But I just love seeing her kick the shit out of people. It's very amusing.
Kicking the shit out of Abracadaniel is like the wimpiest character on the show.
And I think this might be my favorite resolution to a problem. So they're in Wizard City to get a cold spell to stop
Starchy's cold.
And the realization is Finn looks at it and opens the bottle and sees some spray coming. And he says, "No, PB, it's a cold spell, not a cold spell." And that worked.
Yeah,
In the logic of the show, that's a functional sentence, which I love. Not the disease cold, the temperature. No, he just puts a different emphasis on something, and that's good.
And PB knows exactly what he means.
Yeah.
And then that's how they get out, which is great.
And then I do love at the end that PB kind of gives like a slight nod to magic being real before she injects him with the serum. She goes, "Rubble double, dingle dongle," and then shoves a syringes along.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. Okay, this isn't one of my favorite episodes, but I really love Wizard City.
I love the concept of this episode. I don't think it's a particularly good one. It's not bad in the slightest, but it's fine. It's like a solid B minus. It's totally like a watchable, fun episode. But like there's not a lot of like fun. But yeah, Wizard City is such a great design. I love that they walk in and there's like a police force to stop people pretending to be wizards to go into the city. It's a great like that whole concept. It's immediate world building. It's really nice.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff, and we do return to Wizard City eventually. And I think we've seen Wizard City before. We have seen Wizard City before. When
Ice King went to like the Wizard Illuminati. In
that's right. Yeah. So that's right, because they actually make reference to it when they go down into the basement, and Bufo's like, "Do you even understand the meaning of secret society?"
Yeah.
Which I would say that nobody really does. The secret society gets misused all the time now.
I suppose you're not allowed to tell everybody what a secret society actually is.
Yeah, I'll tell people what a secret society actually is. Like that term, you have to understand that like at the beginning of the 20th century, pretty much everybody in the United States was part of a fraternal organization, and fraternal orders are basically called secret societies, but they were never that secret. The part that's secret is their meetings. The contents of their meetings are secrets. So it's a society that has secret meetings or meetings with secrets in it. Not its existence isn't secret. Like it's very rare that there's ever been like a actual like clandestine society.
Yeah.
You know, so secret societies, people know that they exist.
I would just because I hear certain part of our audience going, yes, Eric means 51 or 49% of the population was in secret societies, and of that, only the white ones.
No, it wasn't just white.
The black population in America, and also I meant women, was my main point.
No, but everybody. There were secret societies for women. There were secret societies that had men and women. There were secret societies for minorities of all sorts. Like they were really, really ubiquitous.
No, they were popular, but I was just saying, like, I think you overinflated the number by a significant amount.
It was. I've read books about it. It was something like 25% of the population of the United States.
Oh yeah,
it was a big number. I'm sorry, I did.
I know.
I did exaggerate, but it was a really significant number.
It just there was a lot of people that weren't allowed in the popular ones. I mean, still aren't, but
yeah, for sure. But there were also
but the what's the women Masons called? What are they?
The Eastern Star.
Yeah. Like that's not. They were never all that popular.
But the Masons weren't even the biggest one.
Oh, really? Who were the big guys back then?
The biggest were the Oddfellows.
Oddfellows were bigger than Masons?
Oddfellows were bigger than Masons.
No shit. I always thought of Oddfellows as just a sub-branch of Masonry.
No, they're totally separate. Totally separate organizations.
I think where I grew up, the Oddfellows were quite popular, and all of them were Masons. So it's like
there was always overlap, right? But there were more Oddfellows than there were Masons.
Really?
But
wow.
there were like women only organizations, but there were also like female auxiliaries for every organization. A lot of organizations were of course segregated because everything in the United States was, but there would be like black equivalents to them.
Yeah, what's the famous black equivalent Mason one?
Prince Hall.
Prince Hall. Yeah. I knew Prince was in there somewhere. I couldn't put it together. Yeah.
So it was literally like 25% of the population.
Let's move on to a segment because
Hey Alex,
we were taking way too long this episode.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey Alex, do you have any shiny rocks?
I do. I have 3 shiny rocks. I would like you to choose, or I'll just do all 3.
Let's go backwards. Let's start at 3 and go back to 1.
Do you know what oxyphenbutazone is?
Let's see, oxyphenbutazone. I'm going to say, okay, here's my guess. Mm-hmm. It's an aerosolized opioid.
It's a medication used to treat arthritis.
Oh.
Now, audience at home, you may be thinking, but Alex, that's a kind of boring word. Why are you bringing it up?
Yeah, why do you bring it up?
Exactly, you fools, you rubes, you fucking idiots. I will continue. Because oxyphenbuterol is supposed to be the highest scoring word you can make in Scrabble.
Really?
That, if played, is worth 1,778 points in a single move.
Oxyphenbuterol.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have a Z in it.
Sorry, I said butyrol. It's butazone.
Oxyphenbutazone. Of course, I know what that is.
I've literally been on a medication that says butyrol at the end, and I autocorrected.
Oxyphenbutazone.
Butazone.
So you've got a P and an H.
X is 8, Y is 4, P is 4, H is 2, B is 2 or 3, I forget, Z is 10. But you play it down the right or left side. Actually, you play it any of the top levels, and you get 3 triple word scores. The Z lands on a triple or double letter score, which would be multiplied by 9.
So you're saying
1,778 points in a single move. Now, it's never been done. There is a form of Scrabble that it's mostly in Europe, and it's not like super popular, but it's Team Scrabble. And one of the kind of meme...
Teen or team?
Team Scrabble. And one of the kind of meme things to do is, and it can rarely happen, is you go for it, where you have sort of the letter set up where it's like, oh, I can leave the B hanging at the position it needs to be on the right. And then we both go, we gotta fucking do it. And then like the meme is to try to spell the word, and it never happens. I'm pretty sure it's never actually happened, but it's like a fun
I really like that.
Yeah,
that's dorky.
it's just going for just shooting for the moon every single time, and just it's a really fun thing. But I made a reference to it the other day.
Oxyphenbutazole.
Yeah, oxyphenbutazone.
Butazone.
But I made a reference to it, and I was actually pretty close because I was talking about Scrabble, and I was like, oh yeah, that Scrabble long word like oxyphenabadaba, and I was like, I got
That's
most.
like what 15 letters or something.
So it's the entire right side of the Scrabble board. So
Wow.
I don't. The way it works is kind of complicated. I didn't write it down because it's being hideously boring to work. But like basically, you have to get a hang off of another. So a hang is like if you throw an S at the end of the word and then build down. You hang off of like something that ends in like, let's say, a word that can have an E at the end. I think this is the way it starts. Like some kind of weird thing that E can be added to an existing word. And then you go down from there, and I think it's hen, or maybe, I don't know if fen is a word. But like you do fen or hen, then oxyphen is a valid Scrabble word, and then I don't know the exact because again there's so much
so
building.
it has to be sort of built up over multiple rounds.
Multiple rounds, but there has to be 2 different hangers at the end that don't hit any of the double or triple word scores, and then you dunk the 7 remaining in the 7 remaining slots.
And
in that order, and that hits the 3 triples and the 2 doubles or whatever. So again, it's not going to happen. But if you want to look it up, it's interesting. You can see how it have to happen, but it's like an extreme. But it's just really interesting that you can get 1778.
I love that there are people who spend this much time on Scrabble.
Yeah, when I looked it up, I found the names of the people that presupposed it, but it was like Linda Cardellini and Eric, and then every single thing just had Eric followed by a hyphen because they all stole it from the same source. And I couldn't find Eric's last name, and Cardellini's wrong, probably Linda's wrong because I didn't want to cite just one person.
Yeah.
But I didn't look that hard, but like I gave a couple Googles, and all of them stole it from the same source. It was Linda, but whatever, and Eric hyphen. I'm like, I don't want to do it. All right.
Funny. Okay, number 2.
Number 2, Yarborough.
Yarborough.
Y-A-R Borough. B-O-R-O-U-G-H.
I've run into that as a surname. Yar. I don't know. It's going to be some kind of town.
Yes, Yarborough is the pirate district in any given town near a coast. No, of course not. I played it pretty well. Like I know you didn't believe me, but I think about 15% of you.
No part of me believed it because I made a pirate yar.
Yeah, Yarborough is in a hand of cards in whist, where all cards are 2, 3, or 4.
That's a Yarborough.
Yes, it's a Yarborough.
Okay.
I only brought it up because I had oxyphenbutazone on the thing. I'm like, oh, cool. I can make like a runner of game words because I never heard Yarborough before, and I couldn't find a third one. So
I think excuse me. I think I had come across the term Yarborough before because I was looking up whist and seeing how to play it.
I think in a Agatha Christie or like a Sherlock Holmes or something like that, I think they were playing whist and said Yarborough at some point.
Yeah, that would not surprise me.
Not to say I can cite it, but like when I read it, I'm like, oh yeah, that does ring a familiar bell. And the last one is pettifogging. P-E-T-T-I, fogging.
I would say that pettifogging is okay. I have an idea.
Please.
It probably here's my idea that it comes from Victorian artwork where you would have a woman in some sort of like comic strip whose petticoats are being disturbed, and the artist draws in some London fog to cover up her naughty bits so you don't see any naughty bits. So pettifogging is a way of softening or censoring something that would otherwise
Yes.
Yeah.
If you like the visual form of Grillex, I think it was. Remember that word with when you put like apostrophe at sign exclamation point where a swear would be?
Oh yeah.
We did it on the show. I think it's like Grillex or something.
Oh yeah.
But no, you're.
Is that what pettifogging is?
No, 100% wrong. But I like your explanation a lot.
Okay.
Pettifogging is when you're overly concerned with trivial details.
Oh.
So like petty, like petty, and then so the fog of pettiness. So the trivial details.
Wow.
Pettifogging. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
But wasn't my idea a good one?
No, I liked it a lot. I do wish it were true, but alas, it is not.
If only we could go back in time and be Victorian cartoonists.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably do other things if I was going back in time that far, but...
So, Season 5, episode 28.
Be more.
I would like to say that I'm extremely delighted that we get to have 2 BMO episodes in a row. Because we had a BMO episode in our last episode.
Oh, yeah.
So, and this one I have been waiting for. I really, really like this episode.
I like this episode a lot more in memory
Really?
than I did in watching. I like a lot of it,
Uh-huh.
but there's a lot of filler. Like there's which is weird because these episodes are like 10 minutes long. It's like
Yeah, it's weird that there's that much filler in these, but
yeah,
so one of the things like this episode starts off delightful, where BMO hides himself under a box and is like deleting files and getting high off of deleting
which I love.
files.
Yeah.
Is it a masturbation joke?
No, I think it's like that thing where you.
Like getting dizzy?
Well, did you do in high school where you bend over like at a 90 degree, you huff a lot, and then you kind of cut your carotid off a little bit?
No.
You make yourself pass out, and it's like you get
Okay.
super high off of it. It was just an incredibly reckless, stupid thing. Audience
Right,
at home,
right.
please, for the love of
Yeah,
fuck, don't do
that.
that. But we did, and obviously I turned out okay. So
Ooh,
really, don't.
boy, yeah, don't do this.
Yeah, don't do that. It's weird. I was happy before that. Well, and then I did 6 years of whippets. Yeah.
6 years of whippets.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think I've done 2
like
whippets in my life, to be
BMO's
honest.
just getting high by hurting himself.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Which
then
audience
he,
know that's fine. Self-harm is good harm. Remember,
the only
if it's across the street, not down the road, you can have fun with it.
I feel like self-harm is the only ethical harm.
Yeah, but what if he's like a really big jerk?
Anyhow, BMO damages himself.
Yeah, he's deleting his exe files.
Yeah.
And in his hopes of getting high, he deletes his core memory system or
Yeah.
core system drivers.
Yeah. So they go to the Mo factory
Well,
in
wait,
the
wait,
Badlands.
before yes.
Okay.
But the reason they go there, and I think this is interesting, is there was a failsafe built into BMO that when he fucks himself up so bad, something kicks in that tells him where the Mo factory is and that he has to go back.
It's basically just like it's expected that he's going to do this.
Yeah, which is there's a lot of backstory in that single thing of they built in the idea that when he fucked himself up so bad that he would have to walk through the Badlands, but also it means it's been updated because obviously that factory hasn't been in business this whole time, and the Badlands happened after the apocalypse. So they must be
True.
sending some kind of over-the-air updates
Yeah,
about
there's
their how
gotta
to
be.
get home signal.
Yeah, which is crazy. Oh man! And then one of the things I love in this episode is BMO is like, don't let them overwrite my memories, because if they happen, then those memories will vanish like tears in the oven.
Yes.
Which of course is a Blade Runner reference.
I was wondering. I wrote that down. I was like, I'm not going to say it because I wonder if Eric's going to bring this up. Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to get it. The Tears in the Rain speech is
Yeah.
famous. That's Rutger Hauer in Blade Runner. Roy Batty, I think is his name.
Roy Batty.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I really love that reference. And I was sort of thinking, so when they get to the Mo factory, they disguise Jake and Finn disguise themselves as J-Mo and F-Mo.
Yes.
So would we be A-Mo and Emo if we went to the Mo factory?
I mean, I get where you're going, but I feel
Because
like
I feel like you would have to be Emo.
yeah, I know, right? There's no way between the two of us that you're going to be emo.
Yeah, you would be the Emo one.
Yeah.
I could use AMO from my last name.
Yeah. What's your middle name? J?
Uh-uh.
No, you gave the initial one time.
L.
L. Oh, yeah. Elmo.
I can
no,
be Elmo.
Oh, Elmo.
Elmo's a cool name.
That actually works with our personalities. I'm emo and you're Elmo.
Well, at least we've got our...
You're famously played by a pederast, and I'm just a slightly sad person.
Wait, what?
Isn't Elmo played by a pederast?
I have no idea.
I'm not going to look it up live on the show.
Okay.
By the way, wait, let's be clear. If I'm wrong about that, I apologize. But I swear there was like some controversy with the person that played Elmo.
I have no
Yeah.
idea. I honestly, that's...
Oh, but who cares? We don't have enough listeners for anybody to give a shit. But
But it's fun that we now have our Mo Sonas.
yeah,
Yeah.
you get to wear like a weird red outfit, and I just wear my regular clothes. Yeah, so they run into the security force, and let me bring up, much like Duncan Trussell, my other podcast hero, Paul F. Tompkins
I was
plays.
about to say Paul F. Tompkins is...
I'm so good at recognizing that band's voice. I love
Yeah.
Paul F. Tompkins so much. I listen to him so
I
frequently.
never listened to Paul F. Tompkins.
Oh, I love him so much. He's on Comedy Bang Bang a lot, and he's a fucking genius. I love him. I'd kiss his face if ever were near me. I would even take the hit for doing so. But yeah, it was just exciting to see him. He's a great comic actor.
Oh,
Good to hear his voice.
Well, and Aziz Ansari plays Demo. Another great comedian.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have no opinion on Aziz Ansari. I am aware that he exists, and I think he was on that show.
It's probably. Yeah, I think you're correct.
What was the show he was on?
Fuck, I don't know.
He was on the one that wasn't Parks and Rec.
He was on Parks and Rec.
Oh, was he on Parks and Rec?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, he was he was on Parks and Rec. Probably? I'm almost certain.
We're gonna have to look this up. I'm not downing you, but now
See,
I'm
this
like,
is the thing you'll look up live on
well,
the
no,
show.
because I feel like I'm not gonna get arrested for looking this up.
I'm almost certain he was on Parks and Rec.
No, I'm sure you're right. Yeah, he was on Parks and Rec. I just don't remember. I can't like picture him in that show.
He was like, he always wore a suit.
Was he like in the office with them?
I think so.
Oh shit! All right, yeah. I honestly, I've seen that show, but like
I mean, I might be wrong.
no, it's no. He said it's there. I just
Okay.
like I don't know the show super well, and I get it confused with 3 other shows. Like
Yeah.
Parks and Rec could be Community and 30 Rock. All 3 of those shows are just like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I've seen all of Community and I've seen all of 30 Rock, but I haven't seen all of Parks and Rec.
Yeah. All right. So yes, Aziz Ansari is there.
Yeah.
And
then Chuck McCann plays Mo.
Who's that?
He's like a super, super, super old comedian.
Oh, okay.
His skin's human.
Oh, good. There's a great part where BMO digitally vomits, which I find both endearing and gross.
Yeah.
Very cat-like behavior. And there's a wonderful performance by Mr. Paul F. Tompkins, but when they're about to vaporize them for the second time after this weird roller coaster chase, he goes, no, stop, I'm BMO. And they go, BMO.
Yeah.
In this odd, wide-eyed thing. And it's just
But
like,
also there's
oh.
like, he's got the gun aimed at him and he shoots at the ceiling
Yeah, yeah.
instead.
Yeah. So we find out that BMO actually is a special little boy. It is
He's
not just because...
extremely special.
Not just because he's the one of the protagonists of our favorite show. He's actually a special little boy.
Yeah, like he deserves all the attention we give him. So this might be. I think this is the first time we've seen the innards of BMO.
I believe so.
So when Mo takes off BMO's topmost circuit board, beneath it you see BMO's little golden heart with a medal on it.
Yes.
I think that's the first time we get to see that.
I think so. Yeah.
Which I love that part. I love that sort of little detail. It's so great. And then sort of like opening up that secret hatch to the Mo civilization down
Wait,
below.
before that though, is Mo whatever you would call a 1,000-year-old man?
Well, he
Aryan.
might not be. He might be
Well,
a
his skin
robot.
is. His skin is.
His skin's human.
He said that BMO special built for my kid, but I never got around to having kids. For fun, for play, to be more.
Yeah.
And then Finn goes, yeah, but why are these guys all jerks? And Mo goes, oh no, those are the surface jerks. And then he opens up the hatch to reveal the Mo
Yeah.
paradise underneath. Yeah. I just love like, oh no, he just wipes his hand, just like, no, those are the surface jerks, and then shows
Yeah.
the real thing.
Another thing I really liked about it is when Mo gives that speech about BMO going out into the world to find some boy to
Yeah.
you see Finn sort of make sort of like an uncomfortable sort of like
Yeah.
because BMO did that. BMO found Finn.
So we do have to question this. We don't, but I'm going to.
We do
because
have to.
I'm paid
Let's
to overanalyze.
Okay, let's question.
In a much later episode, it may even be a Distant Lands. It is a Distant Lands.
Okay.
BMO is found, and he's declared the king of all Ooh. He's got
Mm-hmm.
a big beard, and he doesn't remember Finn.
Yeah.
I think he calls him like Perry or something.
Yeah.
Frank maybe. What evidence do we have that Finn is the first little boy that BMO has attached himself to? Because he was made in upwards of 1,000 years ago.
I feel like that's a really good point, and I bet you Finn is not the first.
Yeah, because like BMO obviously
BMO's got to be 1,000.
he's got a penchant for deleting files.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around for a while. I mean,
Well, I assume his memory gets full.
yeah.
And he probably has to delete stuff.
So yeah, although a heartwarming moment, a many years later episode does somewhat take the teeth away from it. That
Yeah.
I mean, BMO could. Although this show is very like Buddhist and it's everything repeats, or Hindu. Like
Yeah.
everything repeats. It's fine if it gets wiped. We will always be back then. It is everything is eternal while being
Right.
temporary.
Yeah.
But yeah. So who knows if BMO had other families before Finn?
I like to imagine that he did. And I like to, so I think that, remember at the beginning I was sort of talking about like the gods in Adventure Time, how
Yeah.
they're sort of ill-defined. But one thing that we do know is that there are certain characters in Adventure Time who have been around for over 1,000 years. So we've got Ice King, we have Marceline, we've got Princess Bubblegum, we now have Mo, and very possibly BMO.
So BMO could have been made later, but like at some point that factory breaks down. So like BMO has to be. The point is BMO has to be significantly older than Finn.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think, yeah. So BMO could be as old as 1,000. Who knows?
Yeah. And I love this peek into BMO's past.
Yeah. Maybe that's because I hear they're making more Adventure Time related material.
Oh, I don't think they're ever going to stop. I think they're going to Scooby-Doo this shit.
No, but I mean like mainline adventure, like Finn and Jake based, not like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forget what they were saying, but there was like I think more like Distant Lands kind of thing.
Okay.
Like directly related to Adventure Time.
I'm okay with that.
But it would be kind of interesting to have a, BMO was friends with Hunson Abadir, 500 years after the apocalypse or something.
Oh my God, it would be great. What if? Well, we know BMO wasn't friends with Baby Marceline, but I mean, maybe there are other characters. What about BMO and Billy?
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, BMO and Billy.
BMO and Baby Billy.
Yeah, or BMO. Actually, wait. BMO is the same color scheme as Billy's girlfriend.
Oh,
whatever her name is. I don't remember anymore.
Her name.
But like they both are like a turquoise kind of aquamarine color scheme. So maybe BMO used to be her childhood toy.
Oh, maybe.
Much like all prequels and things that come after the main plot, it's all about where they got their stuff, and it's not very good. My name is Han. Last name, I'll just put down Solo. Ugh. That's actually in Solo. I don't know if you sat through that movie.
I did sit through that movie.
Yeah. He gets his last name.
Need to remember it.
Yeah, he gets his last name because the Empire needs a last name and a.
Yeah. So anyhow, overall, I really like this episode. It does have filler, but so for instance, like one of the things that definitely feels like filler is the chase scene.
Yes.
But I love the chase scene.
It's fine.
I think the chase scene is fun. I wouldn't consider it bad filler. I feel like Adventure Time still has to be a cartoon. So it still has to do cartoon things.
Yeah, it's just there's enough in this episode, or enough in the plot of this episode that I think it's not that I don't dislike this episode at all. It's just my memory of it is better than the actual episode because like all that filler stuff, that could easily just talk to Mo some more. Like it's a 10-minute show. It's not.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I remember the feeling I had the first time I watched this episode and just being like fascinated by what was going on because I was like, oh my God, this is some great backstory. Like, what the heck is all this? And then. Yeah, but watching it, like, I don't know, this is my 4th time watching it probably, and then being like, okay, there's a lot of filler. But overall, both of these are rich. Both of the 2 episodes were very rich in lore, and I appreciated that about them a great deal.
Yes, much like the laboratories of Dr. Noonien Soong, it's full of lore.
Oh boy,
I was trying to find a way to get out.
You got it.
Hey, speaking of, oh my God, get away from me. Eric, why don't you give them a call to action?
My call to action is going to be this. Start paying attention to our social media and YouTube because on October 27th, I believe, we will be having our WizBiz Halloween live stream. It's a Sunday. We haven't really decided what we're going to do yet, but we're probably going to do a variety of divination techniques, and maybe we will do a group watch of one of the Distant Lands episodes again, because that was pretty fun last year.
I was just confirming, yes, it is the 27th.
All right, October 27th. So watch out for that. We'll make lots of announcements for it.
Yeah. Although at that point, go to YouTube now and subscribe to us, and you'll get a notification.
Yeah, we're WizBiz Podcast on YouTube.
Although you have to smash that bell.
Yes, smash that bell.
Appreciate that.
Hit subscribe. All that other junk. You can listen to all of our episodes there, and I suspect that leading up to it, we'll probably try to do some Twitch streaming on our WizBiz channel just to. Oh yeah, you can also go subscribe on Twitch because we're probably gonna live stream through Twitch. I think that's what we did last time.
Twitch now has a
YouTube live stream integration.
Well, no, it's always had that, but now you can dual stream really easily.
Cool. Okay.
So you can just send the API to both. And
all right. So we're gonna live stream on probably Twitch and YouTube, but probably primarily Twitch.
Twitch is the one we're going to be looking at the chat.
Yeah. So go follow us on Twitch, WizBiz Podcast, and we'll do something to make it worth your while. And that's kind of my call to action: is get ready for our live stream. It's coming up.
Bye, Mo.
Bye, Mo.
What is this?
Film before a live studio audience. Norm!
Mute.